I think that when it comes to, I'm sure all you ladies agree, when it comes to getting married, or if whether you become common law or you decide on settling down with someone, that's the biggest decision of your life. Nothing is going to have a bigger impact, either positive or negative, on your life than the spouse that you choose. Mm-hmm. Do you guys agree? Nour, I can tell that you don't agree with that. Do you ladies agree?
I do.
Totally.
Because
Today,
if you end up, being with the wrong individual, and you've invested 10, 15 years into that relationship, and then everything gets flushed down the toilet, and you have to start all over again, and now you have all this baggage.
Yeah.
If you have children, or if you were so intertwined financially and every other way, now to break that apart, you're gonna have there's baggage there. You're gonna have issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot of broken fragments, and now you have to kind of pick up those pieces. So having parents being involved, again, obviously if your parents are righteous, I'm not saying they're just kind of being controlling for the sake of being controlling, but if they mean well, isn't that a bonus?
That's true.
That's a bonus.
Like, it's not a negative thing.
It's not a negative thing, but at the end of the day, it's not my choice. That's my only problem. Like, they let me see, they let me choose, they let me go out, they allow me to date. I was about to get engaged, but at the end, they had the last say.
And they said no.
And they said no.
Okay,
Although
so-
I was against it,
Yeah.
but they had the last say at the end of the day.
But don't you feel that, how old are you, Nour?
23.
Don't you feel that your parents have got wisdom way more than you do through life experiences, through also seeing other people's children get married and relatives or people in the community?
Yeah.
Don't you think that they've got a little bit better insight in regards to what to look for in a guy?
Yeah.
Where you might just be like, oh, he's got a nice car and he's got nice muscles and a tattoo and he's got super cool, hair, whatever. That's right. That stuff doesn't matter because after 10 years,
I know.
that means nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And your parents are able to look beyond that. So, one thing I always tell people, especially when it comes to a guy, if a guy is looking to marry someone, who do you think is the most important person for him to look at to make that decision? Anyone?
The mother.
The mother of the girl. That's the most important person. Why? Because that girl was raised in that household. The way that that mother behaves is going to be the way that she's going to behave as well too, in regards to the spouse. So if she's controlling and she dominates the man of the house, then that's the norm for this girl. That's all she knows. She doesn't know any better. If the mother is very, very difficult and bitchy and people don't really like her, that's a warning sign. And when it comes to men, same thing. So if you want to be with a man, what's important to look at is the family dynamic, not just as the guy, because that's just only one side of it.
Yeah.
You gotta look at his parents, because his parents are the ones who raised him. And that's the norm for him. So if he grew up in a household where there's arguments every day, all the time, then to him that's normal. All of a sudden, if there's just peace in the house, he feels uncomfortable. It's not normal to him. He wants that toxic environment. So at your age, you're not able to see beyond the guy.
Trust me, I don't want to get married soon.
You're not getting married
It's
soon.
not even about I wanna
Well, no,
be
but
married.
you just said right now that this guy that you were engaged to, you wanted to be with
I
him.
was about to get engaged, and
But-
it was my dad's choice. I
But if
didn't
it wasn't,
take it.
but I'm saying if it would have worked out, you would have been engaged right now.
Yeah,
or
because
married.
that's what my dad wants. Like for us to be together, we have to get engaged. He decided that, so I have to go with it. To be with him.
So Carly, you're engaged.
I am.
And how did you meet your guy?
We actually met in college.
Okay.
My first year of college and his second year.
Sorry, Kylie, can you just bring the mic a little bit closer to your...
Carly, just bring your mic in closer.
Sorry.
Yeah. So his second year, your first year.
Yes.
And did your family meet him?
It's a very funny story because at first we actually agreed to each other not to bring it up to each other's family first because we're both Asian.
Yeah.
So in Asian household, maybe just for us, we're just okay, we don't know if we're stable or not. So at first we're just gonna try it out first. And then if we think, okay, maybe this guy is actually gonna be my boyfriend or girlfriend, we will maybe after a while and then tell our parents that, oh, I got a boyfriend or I got a girlfriend first, but you don't have to tell them who that is.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's how we work, just because like both our families are very strict through relationships. Like my parents didn't want me to, you know, get in a relationship because I actually studied abroad to New York. So I was studying in New York, and my family, of course, want me to, you know, successful and everything, to become something successful. So they were like, you have to study hard and get whatever you deserve instead of dating a guy first. So
Okay.
focus on your studies.
They want you to be established first, to be
Exactly.
independent.
Yeah,
right?
like
Instead of having to
you
depend on
shouldn't
the
focus
guy.
on a guy first because, you know, this is what you come here to do.
Okay.
But you know, like when you like a guy, you go for it, you
Yeah.
know? Like
And things move quickly.
exactly. So it was funny that how he also said the same thing, because his family is kind of strict, because his family doesn't really want him to get in a relationship because he was gonna become a dentist. So in his year of study, like he just keep pursuing dentistry, but after a while he realized he does not like dentistry at all.
Okay.
So he like just dumped all of the dentistry classes and everything out and changed his major to biology. Yeah, so that's like a huge change, because in his household, like he's the only single son. So like
So they weren't happy about it, I guess, or
kind of at first,
Did
but
they
you
blame
know,
you?
at the end it's his own choice.
did they blame you for that at all, or
No,
Okay.
I wasn't with him
What
yet.
did you? Okay. Okay.
So that was a good part, because this is his first step of, you know, getting out of his comfort zone and getting out of his family's comfort
It's
zone.
independence, basically.
Exactly. And he's trying to run away also, because under the strict parenting, like it's just there's so many things happening in his household. It's just he doesn't really like when he was in college.
So now with you guys being together,
Yes.
both the families know, that you- like,
Yes.
and they approve of it.
Yes.
And what would have happened if your parents didn't approve of it?
That's also a very funny story, because when my parents first saw my boyfriend, they didn't like him.
Okay. That's usually the case, by the way. It's
Yeah.
not, especially when it comes to a boyfriend. Most parents are going to be like, you know, he's a loser. I don't like him. But they're not going to be like, oh, I love him. Great choice. They're going to be usually that way because they like to play it safe.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think there's another reason, because he's an American-born Chinese. So like in his household, he doesn't really learn a lot of the
Asian culture.
etiquette. So like the Chinese culture and
Yeah.
everything. But my family is back in Hong Kong. So when he first saw my parents, like he doesn't know like, oh, take off your shoes when you
Yeah,
get
the
in
proper
house.
etiquette. Yeah.
You know,
So
like
they didn't
get
like
a
that.
gift. Like, cause I told him not to get them, because the first time, like he met them, I introduced him as a friend. That's why. Like, I mean, if a friend comes to my house, it's just like,
But I mean, listen, your parents can like see that he's not just a friend. I mean, that's a given.
But they
Yeah.
might ignore, like, unless my daughters say it's okay.
No, but I mean, you bring him to the house the first time as a
Yeah.
friend. They know that, like, he's not just a friend.
but I brought guys back home that is actually just a friend.
That's back home, but I'm saying here now, and maybe if he would have brought a gift, that would have won them over more, right? Because your parents are traditional,
Oh,
right?
maybe.
So you should have played it safe and done everything possible to get him in your parents' good books, your good graces from the beginning, right?
That's
So,
true.
you know, when it comes to parents, it's really based on how you present things. Like if you present the person to be a very respectful individual, and if your parents are traditional, that even though he might not have the traditional values, but you do make sure he presents himself that way, that's bonus points. But to tell him, no, just come in, don't take off your shoes, and you know, if my parents do something, don't acknowledge it, who gives a shit, be yourself, you know, be independent. No, that's not gonna work in your favor. That's going to work against you. But now your parents they like him and they've accepted him?
Yes, because after that, like every time I call my parents back home, like I would like, tell them something about him that he does for me. Like, oh, he cooked for me, he bought me a gift, like what did he do for me, this and that and everything. So slowly, like they became like, oh, like he can actually take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
So like slowly, like they became like, they realized that this guy is not as bad, as the first time we saw him, because we were young.
Mhm.
So like I also, maybe I don't know a lot of these stuff that I should tell him to do, I just think, okay, this is a friend, so
Yeah.
maybe like he doesn't need to do all these. But I guess you're right,
Yeah,
like,
traditional stuff matters to because
it
your
doesn't
parents.
matter who that is.
Yeah.
I should just show his best part first.
100%. And at the same time as well too, if you're engaged to this guy, if you get married with this individual, as you progress in your relationship, you should not only just to please your parents, but for your own self, keep some of your traditional values and pass them down to your children. So it's going to please your parents, but now it's what makes you who you are. To kind of give up on that and just become like completely whitewashed and just Western and like I'm not going to follow any more of my traditions, then what kind of sets you apart, right? That some of that stuff is beautiful to have, right?
Yeah.
So, are you happy that you got your parents' blessings with this guy?
Yes, definitely. Like,
Does that meant a lot to you?
yeah, because my parents actually, like, every time, like, they would ask about him now. Like, they're like, oh, how is he doing? Like,
Mhm.
what are your plans and everything? Like,
So they're concerned and they care.
yeah, so it's very nice hearing that, because before, like, they weren't really, like, they don't really care about it a lot.
Yeah.
Because maybe they think, like, it's not stable, like,
It's not
they're
serious.
gonna break up soon.
Yeah. But now that you are serious with them, so it's a happy relationship. So Nour, back to you. It boils down to a couple of things. Number one, if you are able to be a little bit more open-minded and kind of understand where your parents come from, it's all based on perspective, right? So your perspective is you've got tunnel vision and you're only seeing things this one specific way, which is why aren't my parents letting me do what I want to do? My life, my choice, blah, blah. Your parents also have their own perspective, right? Because they grew up probably in Egypt
Yeah.
and they got married there. They came here to offer you a better life, right? But they still do feel that their perspective is the right way of looking at things. So they want to kind of prevent you from, hitting certain pitfalls in your life.
Yeah,
That
I
you-
get that.
right?
I get that, but like, there is no way they're gonna make me avoid doing these mistakes. I can listen, I can keep them in mind, but
Avoid
eventually,
but some of the bigger ones they can. Like, I mean, for example, if you like a guy and both your parents don't like him,
okay.
like usually I find the moms are a little bit more easier going when it comes to the daughter liking a guy, the father's a little bit tougher on it. And vice versa. If it's a boy, oh my God, you said you have a son, right? Oh, he's like, whatever. He's a mama's boy. The mom is going to be, any girl that's going to come in and be his wife, you're going to be a lot more selective and be a little, because you're a woman. So you can spot certain things on
Yeah.
how well would this woman take care of my son.
But that's what I said before, like the way I was raised by my parents, I would say, if I really connected that, because I'm very strong with identity. I feel proud of how I was raised, who I am. And I think as a mom, I have passed on that to my children as well. So I would never want to be very selective about the girl who comes into his life. I want him to make that choice. But as I said, it depends on how you're raised, like, the socialization piece. And I feel that I have given him those values, kind of that I have passed on. I'm sure he'll understand what my parents like.
No, but at the
and
same
what
time,
he would like.
boys are, when it comes to courting, they can be very naive. And they can be easily fooled, okay? Especially when it comes to traditional courting. So he might meet a girl, and so what draws a guy to a girl?
Face.
What?
First
Yeah,
thing.
physical, yeah.
Yeah, beauty.
The visual.
First thing.
Well, beauty lies in the eyes of beholder.
But-
It matters what are you seeing in a girl. To me, like as I said, like I don't shy away from saying how old I am because I take a pride in who I am, with the grace. Like I'm a mom of 3 children. I take a pride in that.
No, but your view on what beauty is in a young girl, it's going to be different than what your son's view
Yeah.
is.
So if I see a girl, for example, I see Nour right now and I see Carly. They're 2 young, beautiful girls. But is that only the outer beauty that will attract me as a
No,
mom?
but so not you. So I'm very happy you
same.
said that. No, so your son is not the same.
Oh, of course.
So
because
you-
he's a different gender,
So
the
you-
outlook
you-
will be different.
Your son you might think these girls are beautiful. Your son will be like, ugh, they're not my type at all.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
what I'm saying is, no, 100%. I'm telling you as a guy.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you, Chris, do you agree with me here? 100%. So a guy,
100%.
when a,
100%, I
when
get
a,
it.
when a guy sees a girl, the first thing he notices is how she looks. That's crucial. So when you say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, everyone's attracted to a different look.
Of course.
Some guys like chubby girls, some guys like girls who are short, whatever it may be, but the physical part has to be there.
But
That's
it
the
is
first
not
thing.
everything. That's what I'm trying to
It
say.
isn't, but it is the
First
initial
impression.
thing to open the door.
Of course.
So if he doesn't find the woman attractive, he's not even going to make an attempt to get to know her.
Well, I would say presentable.
Not even presentable, attractive. See,
This-
men like what they see. That's the first thing. From there, he will then make the effort to get to know her. But if he's not attracted to her, I don't care how great she may be. You might think she's an amazing girl and you want your son to meet him and him to meet her, and you feel she's educated, she's smart, she's great, her family's amazing. If he's not attracted to her, he's not going to take the next step.
how you
So
feel
that's number
about
one. A woman is different. Women fall in love with what they hear. Women like a man who is a gentleman. Some like bad boys, but some like most women
I think
want.
most like bad boys.
But I'm saying girls when it comes to marrying. So when it comes to marrying, they want a guy who's a gentleman. They want a guy who's going to take care of them.
Yeah.
They want a guy
Yes.
who cares about them, right? And how will they know that? It's from him saying that, his words. And a lot of girls fall in love and then they fall flat in their face because that guy was a liar.
I don't want to
You know?
disagree, but I will say it's not the words. I would put it as actions.
Actions. Yeah.
Like
Actions,
what
yes.
you
Yeah.
see, like
Yeah.
what you make. I think, I don't know, like I would say this show is all about that, speaking, you're expressing yourself.
Yep.
So I see even the girls who are physically very attractive, like in my house, right? I have my husband and I have my son and I have my dad and I have so many cousin brothers and I know everything about how boys feel and what they look and what they don't. But I'm saying that could be temporary, I would say, an entrance, as you said, right? Entrance into getting to know, like beautiful Carly. I get those vibes, as I say, the hormones are working and the chemistry, and you see all those fire, and you say, well, I want to know Carly because she's amazing how she is looking. But if Carly it doesn't has the values or doesn't has the etiquette or doesn't know how to respect or very general things, I'm just saying, like how to behave. Well, I wouldn't hesitate to say on this show, well, that's not going to last long. That's going to be
No,
like a
so
breakup.
we're both saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is, for a guy, it's based on how the girl looks.
Mm-hmm.
From there, he will decide on whether or not he wants to get to know her.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't find her attractive, I don't care. She could be a princess.
Oh, no.
Forget it, unless he's like greedy. But most guys are gonna be like, if I don't find the girl attractive, I'm not gonna make an effort to get to know her. Number
100%.
one. So when it comes to guys meeting girls, if a guy he could be, very intelligent, academically gone to school. It could be a doctor. It could be whatever. If he is not taught on how to communicate with a woman,
Absolutely.
how to be able to figure out what kind of qualities that woman has,
Yes.
what morals and values that person should have, he'll get very easily caught in the web because of her beauty.
Yeah.
And she will win him over. And then as a mom, you're almost shut out of luck to even say much because, again, if your child respects your opinion, then he will listen to it. So my point, the reason I'm saying this is you might meet a guy and you might like him because he's handsome and he's cool and he's popular and he's a loner and he's like mysterious and whatever the hell it is, and has a really thin beard and whatever. And he has a nice car and he works out and goes to the gym and blah blah. But that's all you're seeing. Your parents have kind of like this spidey sense that they can see beyond that.